Hey, and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So I'd like to answer the question of Mythic Insignias. How should you be getting them? Is it even worth right now to go and upgrade them to Mythic? Or just go to your auction house and straight up buy them on Mythic already? Additionally, we also have the trade bar discount event, which gives us 20% off, and we can use those trade bars to buy insignias on Epic, and we could potentially convert those to dust to make some powder to upgrade insignias that you may have. Ultimately, let's answer the question and go through the process and the math of what is worth it. Just buying mythic insignias or going through the upgrade process. Should you be spending your trade bars on insignias, or should you be spending on them on something else to just make astral diamonds? Let's see. First of all, a special thank you to all of these channel members for their added support, and let's dive in. So right now we have insignias up to mythic, and you can see that the cost to upgrade to blue from green is just 20 powder. Then from blue to purple, it's just 100 powder. And then from purple to legendary, you need 500 powder. And then from legendary to mythic, it's 2,500 powder. So ultimately, that's 3,120 powder. Yeah, a lot of powder needed. Additionally, you can see a green insignia will give you 2 powder, a blue 10, an epic 50, legendary 250, and mythic 1,250. You may notice it's all a multiplicative of 5. You can see you multiply by 5 each time, and the cost goes up, and so does the amount of powder you would gain. And so let's have a quick look at the pricings and compare the sources of insignias and ultimately the cost then of mythic insignias. So of course, the primary place you're going to be getting insignias is the auction house. You can see you can buy uncommon ones, you can buy rare ones, you can buy epic ones, and legendary, and ultimately mythic. And the big question I want to answer is, should you just buy them on Mythic and forget about the entire upgrade process? Additionally, you can buy your epic insignias, which are like nearly 50,000 on the auction house, for just trade bars. You may have a backlog of trade bars, and right now we have the discount. That's why I'm mainly making the video now. And you can see it's 80 trade bars per epic insignia. But keep in mind, that's a lot of trade bars, and you could spend those trade bars instead on consumables, scrolls of life. You can see it's 6 trade bars per scroll of life. And upon initially starting out to get the math of this, scrolls of life, you'd buy 10 of them for nearly 40,000. So that's like 4,000 astral diamonds per scroll of life that you would gain by buying these with trade bars and selling them, excluding the auction house cut, of course, of 10%. And right now, that price has gone back up again, as you can see in consumables, up to 50,000 per 10 scrolls of life. So that's 5,000 astral diamonds per scroll of life. That's quite a lot of astral diamonds, considering you only spend 6 trade bars per scroll. The equivalent of 833 astral diamonds per trade bar. Now you can see we have the chart with some math, and with the value of trade bars being this high, you would need to sell your insignias at 66,000 on the auction house for it to be worth it to spend the trade bars to get those epic insignias. Have a look at the auction house, and you can see that epic insignias you can actually buy for a bit less than nearly 50,000. So already you can see it's not worth it to buy them from the trade bar store. You're better off buying scrolls of life and selling those to then gain the astral diamonds, which then you would spend on these and essentially gain a bit of profit, saving you some astral diamonds. Yes, I know this can be a bit confusing, but again, if you look at these prices and compare them with what's on your auction house, you can see the different types of insignias. Greens are like under 2,000, so yeah, not worth it there. And if we are to adjust this pricing down to like 4,000, let's say that's how much a scroll of life would cost, then this is where the pricing comes a lot closer to what you actually see on the auction house. And with that in mind, you can see again, like blue, you're going to spend 10,000, which is pretty close to what you see here. And that would mean you'd have to sell scrolls of life for like 4,000 a piece in order to equate to that and to make it equal to if you were to spend trade bars on them. And then having a look at the different prices, comparing that, and then the cost to actually upgrade them, you can see that at this price range, you would need 3.3 million Astral Diamonds worth of insignias to obtain a Mythic Insignia. This is the insignia refinement cost to go from green to Mythic. 3.3 million Astral Diamonds. And so this answers your question. Can you buy Mythic Insignias for less than 3.3 million? Yeah, you can. You can pretty much get any insignia for less than 3.3 million Astral Diamonds. However, keep in mind, the pricings will change and go all over the place when especially you want specific insignias. Like if I want just a skill insignia, you can see already the prices upwards of like 2.2 million if I want these eyes, these enlightened ones. 2.25 million. But as long as they don't go over like the 3 million here, it's not worth to get them via upgrading. And right now, if you look at the price of Scrolls of Life on PC, they've gone up to 5,000 per scroll. This is how much your Mythic Insignia would cost you if you were to spend trade bars to upgrade it. That's, yeah, you can see right there that it's absolutely not worth spending trade bars on insignias. It's not worth upgrading legendary insignias. It's not worth upgrading epic insignias. There's absolutely no point in upgrading at all because the cost to do so is ridiculously high. If we're to adjust it so that maybe the scrolls go for like 2,000, then you can see it becomes more reasonable to actually upgrade insignias via, let's say, trade bars. But if you were to buy insignias from the auction house, they would have to be at this price range in order to get a Mythic Insignia upgraded with the cost of like 1.66 million. And let's say we were to bump that up to 2 million, you can see that then these would have to be the prices of your insignias that you buy from the auction house to then convert to dust to then upgrade at a cost of 2 million per Mythic Insignias, that being 2 million of an upgrade cost. You can see that a Scroll of Life would have to cost like 2,400. But again, checking the insignia economy on PC, you can see that the prices are like 2,000 for green, 10,000 for blue, nearly 50,000 for purple, and legendaries about 260,000, with the lowest and cheapest mythic ones being at like 1.4 million, which is then much closer to these price listings, as you can see here, meaning at those prices, you were to buy your insignias, you're still spending like 3.3 million to get an insignia from green to mythic. That is the amount of value you're investing into your insignias to get them upgraded. Yeah, and if you can buy the insignia you need for less than that, then it's not worth buying insignias from the auction house to get them upgraded to mythic when you could just buy that mythic one at cheaper. However, if you, let's say, want a dominance insignia, and let's say you want a regal dominance, you can see that's like 2.7, 2.8 million. You can see then prices is getting pretty close to that 3.3 million, meaning it gets closer and closer to being worth it to actually upgrade them. So keep an eye out on the pricings for yourselves. I'll give a link to this document below. Just keep in mind you're going to have to download it yourself and re-upload it to like Google Sheets to be able to edit it, because I can't just have all of you being able to edit it at once, because then it'll just be a mess. And you can play around with, let's say, this value right here. It doesn't really matter what this cost is. This is mainly for equating whether it's worth it to buy for trade bars. But just having this price adjusting, let's say you change your epic insignia to be 40,000, that would change the pricing of everything else, what they would need to be in order for it to be equivalent to the price for the amount you need to get to basically mythic. If this was like 60,000, then again, you can see that would have to be the rest of the prices of your insignias, and that would be your total cost here to get to mythic. And ultimately, again, to look at what it is for the trade bar value, you just have that value there, and that's what that is. And you could just change this as well, and you'll see that that'll change pricings and the listings, and then you can also see if it's worth spending your trade bars or not. So right now on the PC market, it is not worth buying any insignias other than mythic. Do not upgrade your legendary, epic, or even rare ones, since the cost to do so is higher than just buying them already on mythic. You can go and sell your legendary insignias. People might buy them for dust, not that they should, at the ridiculous price that they are right now. You can see legendary insignia 270,000. That's pretty close to what you see here, meaning ultimately you're gonna have to spend 3.3 million to get a mythic insignia. But one thing you do have to keep in mind is that you can get insignia dust essentially for free just by grinding and playing the game. But a lot of the time it's actually worth it more to sell those insignias and just buy at mythic. People will be adamant to upgrade their insignias, so I don't think the prices are going to drop too much lower than they are, but they really need to drop significantly lower to compete with the price of mythic insignias right now, at being only just over 2 million for like some good ones. And on top of that, you can trade with other players and get some decent exchanges as well. Let's say you have a bunch of insignias you don't want, you could go and trade them for a different type. Let's say I want Regal in Dominance. Yeah, okay, that is where your prices get a bit dicey there. You can see then it becomes more affordable to upgrade when your costs are like 2.6 million, 2.8 million. Yeah, and the supply dries up pretty quick as well, since there's not a lot going around. So hopefully this has helped you guys somewhat with your decisions on mythic insignias. The market changes a lot, and yes, you can spend trade bars to get epic insignias, but right now it's worth it just to get scrolls instead and get your astral diamonds. So again, another special thank you to all of these channel members for helping me keep my channel going. And if I presented this well, consider leaving the video a like. If you're new around here, consider subscribing. I'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.